everyone, my name is Rhiannon from Blue Dog Board Games, and today, at long last, we are going to be carrying on our solo Uwe Rosenberg series, and today we're going to be playing the solo mode of Oranienburger Kanal. So Oranienburger Kanal is actually quite a little bit different than most of Uwe's other big box games. There is not an ounce of farming in sight. There are no animals in this game, there's no farming of any point in terms of like fields, no crops, nothing like that whatsoever. You are solely focusing on building up structures on your player board, surrounding them with different types of pathway or canal or road or railway to activate them and try and escort the most points. This is solely a 1 to 2 player game, so if you were after something that could also be played with like larger groups of people, this is not going to be the one for you, but this is just a much tighter 1 to 2 player game than some of his other games. And I do just want to apologise that I'm doing this one at this moment in time. The reason being is that Oranienburger Kanal was actually, I believe, released to backers last year. It was crowdfunded, and unfortunately it was a very, very small print run. So it is very difficult to get hold of right now, and I don't believe you can really find any brand new copies. I managed to find mine secondhand on eBay for a very reasonable price for its rarity at the moment in time. So I do believe that it has been picked up by another publisher, and that is sort of in the works of getting out there at some point in the future. I believe it's going to have a rehash of some of its like artwork and graphic design, and hopefully that will mean that it is a bit more readily available at some point. But if you did particularly like the look of this one, you will just have to maybe hold tight, and it will be worth the wait for you, I'm sure. Anyway, without further ado, we're all set up, ready to go, so let's get going. So you'll see Oranienburger Kanal is very bright, very mustard. So you've got your player board here. This one's actually double-sided. We're going to be playing on this plain side today, but on the other side, and I disagree with this, but they recommend that you start with that one for your first few games, because it's got a few areas where they pre-print where you have your starting like pathways and things like that. But we're going to not be doing that today. You've got your resource wheel over here, and we've got numbers around the outside, and we've got our like basic resources, so they can be either between 0 to 8 in our supply. And you've got your processed resources, so you've got these ones here, your bricks and your stone, or I don't know what it is, bricks and grey things, slate. And this is between 0 and 6. And you can rotate this wheel during the game to gain different amounts of the resources, but just bear in mind every time we're rotating, we're actually changing our supply of absolutely everything else. You've got your actions over here. So at the beginning of the game, some fellas are on the empty top spaces. This is a blocking disc which is used in the solo game. It's your first player marker, otherwise in your 2-player game. And it's at the moment going to be on the first box, and it's going to be ticking along, and once it reaches this last space here, this is going to be triggering the end of the game once that end of round is completed. So there's actually only 7 spaces to go in this game. Under these decks of cards, we will be revealing more of these as the game goes on, but as the game progresses and more of these are taken off, you will see that it will reveal an additional action or a bigger action. So this one is in addition, you can build a bridge, but some of these others are alternate actions, so you can alternatively build a structure instead of this down here. So that's good to keep in mind what they are when you sort of get into the flow of the game. And then finally, we've got our cards up here. So we start the game with 4 green cards revealed. They do need to be in numbered order, so they all have a little number in the bottom right corner. So whenever we reveal them from the deck, we will be changing them around and making sure that they are in smallest over to the left and biggest over to the right. And we will, before we actually start the game, because I need to set up my pathways on my player board, I just want to see what's going on in terms of the structures that we have available to us, because that may change where I want to place my original pathways. And we'll go into this in a lot more depth in my final thoughts of this game today, but the iconography in this game is quite a challenge. There's an awful lot of cards in this game, and bearing in mind as well that the base game has 2 different decks of cards, so the A and B deck. I've also got the 2 additional expansions as well that was kickstarted alongside the base game, and they each have another 2 decks of cards. So we've got decks A all the way to F, A, B, C, D, E, F, yeah, 6 different decks of cards. And roughly you can play 3 back-to-back games without seeing the same card twice in each deck. Just about. You do see a couple of extra cards, the same card, but roughly. So there's a lot of cards, and they're all doing very unique things. So as such, the iconography is complex. There's a lot going on. It's difficult to wrap your head around, but they do have a little reference guide for each deck of cards, which is the Bible. You're going to need this in the game, and I will be keeping it by me for this playthrough, just in case there's cards that I don't have a clue what's going on. But anyway, we're going to have a look at what we've got out. We've got the tram shelter here, 2 points at the end of the game. So for 2, 3 or 4 railway tracks next to it, you get 2 wood, 2 thalers, and either 2, 3 or 4 prestige. Prestige is worth just points at the end of the game. That's quite nice. There's a lot of railways that we need to build though. The warehouse is the one next to it. So 1 or more railways next to it, we can double the wood, our wood supply. I like that a lot. And 1 or more canals next to it, we get 2 bricks. I also like that a lot. That's good. We're going to probably go for this one. A community centre, 1 or more bridges adjacent to it, we get 3 wood, 3 thalers. I also really like that. And the shaft tower, 3 or more pathways adjacent to it, we get 5 ore. Or 3 or more non-adjacent pathways, canals, 3 or more non-identical things adjacent to it, you can spend 4 ore to gain 8 thalers. Okay, I'm not sure I like that one quite so much, but I really love the look of this warehouse. So let's set up. So I'm going to take a canal, rail track, and 2 pathways. You do have 2 different sizes, so you've got your little ones here and your bigger ones, according to whether you're going along the length or the width. I'm going to try and keep the canals towards the centre. When you're placing these to start the game, you can either only go around the outside of your whole player board or stick it going into the centre of the board, but it has to still join to the outside. So I can't, for example, stick my canal in the centre of the board. But if I'm going to be doing this warehouse, I think I want to start my canal here, maybe start my railway track here as well. And actually, that's a really good thing to do. I could block this off straight away. I can't do that. I've just literally told you that I can't do that. There we go. So I can't block it off straight away, but nearly. So I believe that is everything. We've got our resources on their starting spots, so you can see the outlines on the actual little board. We've got our starting little areas here, thalers on the top spaces, and we are all ready to go. We have a stack of action cube or action discs here. The golden one goes on top because that sort of shows you where you were last, if you sort of lost your trail of thought. And we have 4 actions each turn. So I need to decide which of these action spots I want to go to, and I can't go where the red is. All right, I'm definitely therefore going to go and get some wood because I want this warehouse and I need wood, clay, and the grey stuff. Stone. It's stone, isn't it? I've just realised though that I won't be able to get stone because I have 0 stone right now. That's annoying. Maybe then I will go for the community centre. Yeah, I think maybe then we'll go for the community centre this round and then wait for the warehouse next round. I don't know, that one's 1 or more bridges. I'd like to actually activate that as soon as we can. So that means I do want wood. So let's actually go and collect some wood. So I'm going to go and get some wood so I can tick up my wood. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's just go and grab that structure. So when you are choosing where to go next, you're always moving the whole stack, but you just deposit the very bottommost one. And every time you also then go to an action space with money on it, you get that money. So this one means I can just purchase a structure. So I'm going to purchase this community centre here by paying 2 clay. So 1, 2, and I can place it anywhere on the board. It doesn't have to be adjacent to anything else. There's no placement rules, basically. You just can't overbuild something else. let's go here, I think, because I want this warehouse to go in here. And then hopefully I can build a bridge, because this one, it can be activated when there's one or more bridges next to it. That would be really good. And then I might go and collect some clay, therefore, because I'm on 0 clay. I'll show you in a minute why. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 clay. And then I'm going to come up here, grab this money. And this is maximum of three pathways and 3 roads. So I can mix and match. So I could do 2 roads, 1 pathway. It's a road actually, not a pathway. I could do 2 pathways, 1 road, or 3 roads, or whatever I want to do. However, they do all have different costs. So pathways are 1 clay to build. The roads are 1 brick. Railway is 1 stone and 1 wood. And a canal is 3 thalers. And you also gain 2 clay because you're digging out all of the clay from the bottom of the river. What do I want? I've got 1 brick. It's difficult to plan at this point in the game because I don't have any structures at the moment that will need me to have roads. But it would be good to, you know, pre-plan if I have this opportunity now. All right, let's do the roads first. Pathways. 2 clay to grab a pathway. I'm gonna build this one here and this one here. And I will spend my brick, I think, to grab a road. There are rules with adjacency of different types of, like, I need another word. I keep calling them pathways, but what are they? Routes, here we go. So the pathways, the brown ones, dirt pathways, can basically place anywhere on the board. The railways have to be adjacent to your existing railway. So I can't start building a railway over here. I have to start from here. These pathways can be overbuilt. So I can now extend my railway out this way if I needed to. The canals, very similarly to the railways, have to be connected to your existing canal. And these roads can be anywhere, but they can all overbuild the pathways. So I've got a road. I think I want to extend the idea of a little row up here of structures. So I'm actually going to place that over there. And that is all of my bits and pieces. So to prepare for the next round, what happens you refill your structures. So remember, we are drawing 2. So there's only 2 left in the green pile. We're now going to be on the orange. So what happens here is we discard this leftmost card. And let's just check their numbers. So we've got a number 5. So that one actually comes up here. And we've got a 12 as well. 15, 18. And now that we've actually depleted our first stack, we draw an additional card from the orange stack. Similarly, when we deplete the orange stack, we're going to be drawing an additional card from the blue stack. So now we've got 5 total cards, and then once we've depleted the orange, we'll have 6 total cards out available to us. And then we turn our material wheel if we want to. So this is why I actually wanted to, not only did I want to build pathways with my clay, I wanted to ensure that I had more than 0 basic resources, because now what I can do is rotate this wheel 1 space. If there's anything blocking it, so if anything was on a value 0, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to spend money in order to change the values of my resources. But basically this just gives you like a free way of adjusting your resources, what materials you have available to you. So now I have 1 brick and 1 stone available, but I now have 0 ore. You get more refined stuff and less basic stuff, which is fine. You also have anytime actions, so you can use money to like buy extra resources, your basic resources. You cannot buy your advanced ones, your bricks and your stone. You can, however, pay 2 thalers at any time to rotate your wheel on your turn. But you can only do that if there's nothing at value 0. Like at the moment, I wouldn't be able to because my ore is in the way. So that's all done there. The next thing we do is we add our thalers to the board. So wherever the blocking disc is does not get a thaler, basically. Let's move these out the way. So this blocking disc is going to be rotating to this particular space here at the moment. So we're going to get a thaler on this first space, the third space, the fourth space, and also any spaces that are free in the bottom row. So nobody, including the blocking disc, is in the middle space. So we add a thaler there. Collect us all up. And that is the next round of the game. It's actually a very fast flowing game. I can play this one in about 50 minutes to an hour. It depends how many bonuses you're trying to trigger throughout the game. And I will head this up and say that I actually started with pretty strong scores in this game. But then it's deteriorated quite a lot in the last week of playing, so don't expect great things from me today. Oh, and I also forgot to say that we're actually playing with the A deck today. So this is a deck, one of the decks in the base game. I didn't want to start exploring too much of the expansions because, number one, I'm not very familiar with them. I have played with the A deck a few times before, but also not everyone's going to go for the expansions anyway. So I thought I would steer away from that. So let's just have a look at what we've got now. We've got the traffic junction. So if you've got one or more roads, one or more railways, and one or more canals adjacent, you get 1 stone, 1 or 2 thalers to prestige. Oh, that's quite nice. I should have built my road up here then. But I don't know. I think I prefer the warehouse. This one, the railroad... There's too many R's in this game. Railroad tunnel. I think this is, if you've got 2 parallel railways adjacent to this, you get 3 clay, 1 ore, 3 prestige. I probably won't do that. It's quite good though, 7 points at the end of the game. Because I'd have to extend my railway down this way, and then I'd have to extend it up this way and then up this way. That's quite a lot of effort. Definitely want this one. Once again, I can only buy up to 1 structure this round, so I am going to be purchasing this one, but I just want to try and pre-plan. We already know what that one is, and this is a little bit more, they get more and more valuable as you go on. So this is worth 8 at the end of the game. The publishing house, 1 or more roads adjacent to it. Here we go. I've got a road over here, so that could be good. Whatever minimum value is of your basic resources, you gain 1 thaler. Oh, that could be quite good. It does need 2 bricks. But that's okay. I'm going to be gaining 2 bricks, hopefully, in a moment. All right. So let's just crack on. Let's tell you what, let's do this in a particular order. I'm also mindful as well, this blocking disc is going to be going over here in a minute, and anytime that they move onto a new space on the round, it actually wipes out the thalers on there. You've removed them. So I don't really, if I can, I want to try and go to this space to utilize the thaler. Money can be, some games I've found it to be quite a precious resource. Other times I'm overflowing and I don't know what to do with it. All money is worth points at the end of the game. But it's just a little weird balance. Like sometimes you're really overflowing, sometimes you have not enough and you're scrabbling around. So I'm just mindful of it clearing. But I think we can crack straight on, I think, and grab that material. So if we come here, I'm going to grab the thaler and I'm going to grab the warehouse. So this is going to cost me 1 stone, 1 clay and 1 wood. And I can place it anywhere on the board. So an additional rule here. Activating structures, you activate them. Each structure can be activated up to twice in a game normally. Sometimes you can trigger an additional activation technically with the expansion cards, but we won't go into that. Basically the structures are activated if they are fully surrounded by routes. So for example, if I'm putting it in here now, it's fully surrounded on all 4 sides, it's going to be activated. The second time is when you build its second bridge from the structure. So we've got little wooden bridges here. We're going to be building them. You're not technically allowed to do this. You have to do it from structure to structure, but you will be building them across roots. And anytime the second bridge of that structure is built, you trigger it a second time. The exception is, exception. You cannot activate two structures at the same time if they both have their second bridge built simultaneously. So you would have to choose whichever structure you want to actually get the benefit of. And if we come across that, I'll explain that because I don't think I explained it very well. But anyway, I have bought this. I'm going to stick this one in here. Did I actually want to do that? Let's just think about that. Do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? 1, 2, 3. I do, yes. I was just thinking because I'm going to be doubling my wood. I was just trying to think, do I want to first gain more wood before I activate this? And honestly, I don't think so at this moment in time. I think I need to start getting the ball rolling. So that triggers an activation immediately because I have one or more railways next to it. So I double my wood. One or more canals next to it, so I gain 2 bricks. Lovely. In addition, I can build either one pathway or one road. Okay, what do I want to do? I already have a road here, and that can be good for this card here. I might actually look to do that card because it's worth a lot of points, and it's already like pre-built, really. I've already got a road there that's ready for it. So what I might do... Thing is though, I don't actually have any clay. Remember, to build a pathway you need clay. So in order to push my clay from value 0 to value 1, it costs me 1 thaler. So I could spend a thaler to do that. Or I'll just build a road. Shall I build a road? I am going to build a road instead. I'm not sure at this. I'm sure I will find something else that needs roads. Fingers crossed. Okay, let's do it this way round. So at this stage, it would be quite nice to be able to trigger this one as well. So I think I need more clay to start building pathways. So if I go here to gain 4 clay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what I want to do is come here, I think, to gain the thaler. This is 3 of either wood or clay, or you can alternatively build 1 bridge. So I think I'm going to build a bridge. To build a bridge is 1 wood, and I am going to build a bridge from this structure to this structure. The rules of building bridges are quite simple. You can only ever build 1 bridge from structure to structure, so I can now no longer build an additional bridge between these 2 particular structures. You always have to also build it to a structure, so I can't, if there was no card here, I couldn't build it. You also have to actually manage to cross a route, so it has to have a route already built, so I couldn't build, if there were 2 structures here, I couldn't build a bridge crossing these 2. There's not actually any maximum number of bridges that you can build to a structure as long as it's not crossing the same pathway. So a structure can have 3 bridges connected to it, but remember, you're still only activating a structure when it's had its second bridge built from it. So that's the bridge anyway. I think at this point then I'm going to come here, grab this thaler, and then I can build a maximum of 3 pathways. I'm going to go for pathways, all of them. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go here to activate you. So 1 or more bridges adjacent to it. Yes, I get 3 wood. 1, 2, 3. And 3 thalers, which is a very, very nice indeed. I should get my metal coins for this. It doesn't come with metal coins or anything like that, but it's always nice to just have a generic set of metal coins to use. I think at this point I will also close off this one. And let's start building up this way. There we go. I think that was a good option. Okay, refill structures. So remember, we're drawing 2 from the next deck. We're going to be discarding this one and shuffling these all down and putting them in numerical order. So we've got 26, 29, and 31. There we go. At this point then, so I can turn the material wheel. I'm not technically able to turn it for free right now because my ore is on 0. So if I did want to turn it, I'd have to spend a thaler to move my ore up 1. Do I want to do that? I'm just thinking that's going to give me 3 brick. I think I do want to do that. I've got money to spare. So spend a thaler to move you up and then turn the material wheel. Yeah, I think so. And then replenish your thalers. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. And remember anything that we haven't been to on the bottom. And collect our bits. And he moves over 1. So this is the first round that we're actually able to build 2 structures on a turn if we want to, because we can build a structure here and we can build a structure here. There's another ability for you to build a structure under this spot here, but that's only going to be available in the very final round of the game. Sorry if the overhead shot was really blurry up until that point. For some reason, my camera just decided to not focus for a period of time. I'll keep checking on it throughout the playthrough, but it's so frustrating. Technology, I have so many troubles with it. It's awful. But anyway, there's only so much you can do. So the cards that we have out now, I think at this point we're going to try and ignore these greens just because they're going to be less points at the end of the game. I already know I don't want the 2 parallel railways. So this is 1 railway and 1 railway and 1 road. I could do the railway down this way. That's the streetcar barn. That could be okay. 1 railway, 1 road to get 1 stone, 2 clay, 2 prestige. I do want to start gaining some prestige. This is 1 or more. Yeah, that's the one I was going to go for, but I don't know if it's a bit wasted here. Probably very wasted in this spot here. So maybe we'll, I don't know. We'll think about it in a minute. This is per adjacent railway. We have 3 ore and 1 or more adjacent canals. We gain 3 thalers. Ooh. I wonder actually, that arsenal could be good here because what I could do is build the canal down here. Railway could extend this way and out that way. I like that a lot. Oh, maybe I could try and do that then. So what does that mean? What does that mean? It's quite expensive to build the railway tracks though. Okay, let's not get too excited. We're probably a little way off of that, but it could be doable. So we're at 12 points at the end of the game. We want 1 to fit in here, ideally, because then we can build another bridge, which would just be great. I'm just thinking that shaft tower then could be used there because it would be 3 non-identical adjacent routes. I would have to gain more ore, but I could gain more ore. All right, we're actually going to come over here first. We're going to get all of this money, which is very nice. So this is a maximum of 2 non-equal, sorry, that's absolute rubbish. Maximum of 2 routes of any type. So this is the only space in the entire board that you can build canals and railways. And I'm going to immediately spend these 3 coins to build a canal. Remember, you have to build it continuously from your other canal. And because I've been digging out a hole, I get 2 clay from that. I'm also going to be building a railway. So 1 stone, 1 wood. And I'm going to extend my railway out this way. And then I will have to wait at another point, maybe hopefully next round. Don't know. We'll see, because then that could go in there very nicely soon. Let's therefore actually focus on how we need to build a structure this round. So which structure do we actually want to build? Tell you what I am going to do is something a little bit cheeky. I'm going to spend 1 thaler to increase my ore from 0 to 1. What I'm going to do is, this is probably where it all goes downhill. I'm going to spend 2 coins to rotate my wheel. At this point, I'm going to spend 1 more thaler to move my ore. I'm going to come down here to gain 3 ore. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come up to this spot up here, gain this thaler. I'm going to buy a structure. So this is 1 wood, 1 stone. Place you in here. What I am going to then do is activate it. So I don't activate the first one because that's 3 or more adjacent pathways. I don't have 3 or more adjacent pathways. I do, however, have 3 non-equal adjacent routes. Sorry, not pathways, routes. 3 or more non-adjacent, 3 or more non-identical routes that are adjacent. I've got a canal, road, pathway. So now this is why I was fiddling around with my ore. I can spend all 4 ore, 1, 2, 3, 4, to gain 8 thalers. So I think that overall that worked out. I had a net gain of money, I think. I've got 5 points at the end of the game as well. In addition, I can spend 1 wood to build a bridge. So I am absolutely going to build a bridge. But that didn't really work out that well, but that's fine. Whatever. This is activating this one here then, because this is the second bridge built from that structure. The reason why I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that right now is because I don't have to do that. Do I want to do that then? I would just be doubling my wood. It's probably worth it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. So I double my wood, so I do get just 1 extra wood, but I do get the 2 bricks. So that's really nice. I've got so much brick. I've got so much brick. What do I want to do now then? I don't think I want another building right now. No, who am I kidding? I do. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab this coin here. And I want this streetcar barn. So this is going to cost me 4 thalers. Let's get some change. 2 bricks and 1 wood. And this is going to activate once it's got 1 or more adjacent railways and 1 or more adjacent pathways. So I'm going to pop you here. And then in addition, I'm going to spend 1 brick to get my pathway. Yeah, I think that was pretty good. At this point, I'm also going to spend a thaler to increase my ore up to 1, because now we're going to refill our structures. Because I've built 2, I don't technically need to discard any. Right, so this is some very complicated iconography right now. So I've got 29, 31, 34, 37. Because we have now depleted the orange stack, we're going to start seeing some blues. So just draw 1 blue. There we go. And to rotate my wheel if I want to. You don't have to, but I will. Refill the thalers. Okay, so we are getting somewhere with our structures. I think I want to buy the arsenal this time. I have the brick. I need to get some wood for it. And where am I putting that one? Here. That's great. What else have we got? So this is an estate. So 1 or more adjacent, what's it called? Bridges. There's so many different words in this game. You get 1 of every resource. I like that. That's really nice. And this one, the ore depot. This is complicated. So 2 or more adjacent railways and... see if I can work it out. First activation. Okay, so for this particular structure, if you've got 2 or more adjacent railways and it's the first time you're activating it, you can spend 3 ore to get 4 prestige. If you've got 2 or more adjacent railways and it's the second time you're activating, you can spend 5 ore to get 12 prestige. God. Bulk material cart, 1 or more adjacent railways. Per railway across the board, you gain 1 thaler up to a maximum of 5. Thereafter, you get 2 ore. Oh my God. You know, some of these, they don't flow in my brain. So I just like reading that and I'm like, you know what? I'll find another structure. I'll find another one that's going to be easier. I did quite like the sound of this ore depot though. 2 or more adjacent railways. I'm going to have to really extend the railways out though then. Unless I actually stick the 2 or more adjacent railways in here. No, let's not faff around. All right, I want to get this arsenal then. Because that's just going to be fabulous. I definitely need to get some wood first. So let's go here to get 4 wood. 1, 2, 3, 4. Apologies if you can't see it exactly. I'll just tell you when I'm spending the wood. It's just very slightly too wide, this game. Then I'm going to go get a building. Do I want a... Yes, I do. I'm going to come here to grab this coinage and build a building. Arsenal, please. So 2 wood, 2 brick, 1 stone, 4 coins. 1, 2, 3, 4. To stick this one right here. Then I can spend 1 wood to build a bridge. Okay, which I can either build it here or here. I think we're going to go this way. 1 or more. So this is the second bridge for this community centre. So 1 or more adjacent bridges. Yep. 3 wood. 1, 2, 3, and 3 thalers. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. That was good. Now let's think about what other building we want to work towards then. I was going to go for this one originally, and then that sort of fell off. I do quite like the look of this estate, if I'm totally honest. That's really quite nice. I also need to... Oh, I wanted to get a new railway. That's fine. Next time then, I think we'll finish this one off. It'll be good to finish this one off now. Yeah, yes. We're going to be doing that in a second. Good. So could I buy you as well? 2 bricks. Yes, 1 money, 2 ore. So if I go and get some ore, I'm not going to have enough actions. Let's go and get some ore. Not ore, clay. 4 clay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go over here. Grab a thaler. I'm going to grab a building, the estate. So 1 money, 2 bricks, 1, 2, and 2 clay. Where do I want to stick you? It doesn't actually matter if it's surrounded by anything fancy. So it can literally be surrounded by pathways. So that's a bit of a waste here then, because I've got an adjacent rail canal. So maybe I'll stick it here. Yeah, I think so. And then I can build a path or a road. I don't have the bricks for a road. So maybe I'll do a pathway. Yeah, 1 pathway to activate this one here. And so now I can activate this streetcar barn. So 1 or more adjacent railways, yes. 1 or more adjacent roads, yes. So I gain 1 stone, 2 clay, and 2 prestige. Woo! First prestige of the game. Where should we put you? Here. And that's all of our actions again. Okay. Seems like I sort of half know what I'm doing. We'll see. Refill structures. So let's grab another 2. Ooh, nice 10 victory points on this one. So we got a 48. Let's move you down. 48, yeah. 58, 59. And do I want to spend a thaler to move the ore? Yes, I do. Move you, rotate round, and thalers galore. So what do we have now? So this building construction here, 2 or more, no, here we go. Per 2 bridges across the board, you can spend 1 brick to gain 1 thaler and 2 prestige. I'm not sure I like that much. It's worth a lot of points at the end of the game. We've already looked at that one and I said that's too complicated. This one is per the scaffolding business, per structure across the board that has not been activated at all. You can spend 1 stone to gain 3 prestige. And that's not really going to be any good for us right now because I would have to fully surround it somewhere anyway. And at the moment, we'd only be triggering 2. The rest of them have been activated. So first things first, I think I want to close this one off here. I am looking at this ore depot. So I'm going to come to this space here. I'm going to spend, this is probably a really stupid idea, 1 stone, 1 wood to gain a railway. So that's that one there. So this arsenal, per adjacent railway, I gain 3 ore. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, perfect. And if I've got 1 or more adjacent canals, I gain 3 thalers. So that's really good. I could build another railway, which I might do actually, because then I could extend it out this way and I could put this ore depot here. Yes, so let's actually do that. 1 stone, 1 wood, extend the railway. We're actually going to go out this way. No, we're not. We're going to come out this way. Yeah, I like that, I think. And then, do I have enough wood? I do need wood. I can't really get that much wood. We're going to have to go down here to gain some wood. 1, 2, 3. It's probably a waste, but that's fine. We're good. We're very good. We're going to come up here. 2. Now, grab this ore depot. 1 wood, 1 ore. Stick that one here. And in addition, we're going to be building a bridge for 1 wood. Where do I want this? Where do I want you? Where do I want you? Where do I want you? So there's lots of places that I could. So I could either trigger this one here, which will get me 1 stone, 2 ore, 2 prestige, which is very nice. Or I think this might be a better option. Yes, I'm definitely going to do this actually. This one here. So that will allow this one to be triggered in a minute if I finish it off. But this one means that I can, because of my 3 non-equal routes next to it, spend 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 ore to gain 8 thalers. 5, 6, 7, 8, which is a lot of money. And excuse me, I'm just going to change some up because I've got too many. Look at all my money. Money, money, money. I got so much money. Good. So what else can we do? It would be really good to actually build another thingy. What's the thingy? What am I trying to say? Build another bridge. But maybe I should actually look at a building instead. Shall I look at a building? What do I want to do? I'm not really liking the look of a lot of these buildings at the moment. So I might just take a breather from buying buildings. And instead, I think what I might do is do this alternate action over here. So I get 2 money, which is always nice anyway. And then I think what I might do is do the alternatively build one road. I don't know if I want a road though. We'll think about that in a second. We're going to be building a pathway and let's build the bridge before we go any further. You can do it in any order you want, and you don't have to do all of the actions if you don't want to as well. Let's try and activate this one here then. So this is going to give me 1 stone, 2 clay, and 2 prestige. And then I can spend a clay to get a pathway. Do I want to do that? Yes. And then I think I will. I'm going to spend my brick to build a path road, and I'm going to do it up here. I think so. Refill structures. So at this point, we draw 2. But because I didn't build 2 in that round, we still need a maximum of 6 out. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the moment. So this green one now disappears. We've got 51, 51, 53, 58, 59. I'm going to rotate my wheel. Vala's out and about. So what do we have now? Smelting works. That's just complicated. That's to do with different numbers of, like, if you've got 7 or more of particular root types. So I don't really want to go for that, I don't think. The feudal estate is going to be tricky as well. The bulk material car, though, I think could be a good option because it's quite cheap. It'll just be good to just get it out on the board. All right. First things first, though, what I really want to do is get my ore up. So I want to go somewhere where I can build a bridge. So we're actually going to go over here to grab this Thala. Oh, no, hold your horses. Put the Thala back. We're going to come over here first to get some wood. Forward. We're going to move over here to gain this Thala to spend a wood to build a bridge. Yes, so what I want to do is activate this here. So the arsenal then gets activated a second time. So I get 6 ore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fabulous. And then I get 3 Thalas back because of my canal. And then I can build a building. What do I want? I think I do want this bulk material car, unless I just want to get stuff purely for their points. I can't really get that building and construction. I mean, I could spend Thalas to do it, but I don't think it's worth it. No, we are going to do that. So that's 1 stone. And this needs to be next to at least 1 railway track. So we're going to pop you in the corner. Yeah. So what would be really good is if I could now activate you. And activate you. And if I could build a pathway at the same time, not a pathway, a bridge, which I could do over here, that would be really good. All right, yeah, let's do that. So if we move here, I'm going to grab that Thala, spend a wood to build a bridge. I'm going to build this bridge over here. So, 2 or more adjacent railways, yes. And first activation, this is the traffic light little symbol, it's very confusing. I can spend 3 ore, 1, 2, 3, to gain 4 prestige. So let's gain 4. If I can find the 2s, yeah. And then I do want to push for that second activation of that one. Oh, but now I don't have enough. Oh, that's fine. What we'll do then is do something else. Oh, no. What I could do is this. I'm going to spend my brick to build a pathway. No, I lie, a road to put you up here. One or more bridges adjacent. I get 1 wood. Yeah. 1 clay, 1 ore, 1 stone and a brick. Perfect. Now I can build my pathway. So I'm going to spend a clay to put this down here. Now I can do its second activation immediately. So I can spend 5 ore all the way down to the bottom to gain 12 prestige. Amazing. That was worth it. Yes, and now what do I want to do for the final bit? Do I want another building? I feel like I should... This is one of the things I want to talk about in the final thoughts as well. I hope I can get everything in this final thoughts. I should have made notes, but I feel like sometimes towards the end of the game, you are just buying buildings for the sake of their points. And I feel like that is a shift in... it's a shame. I don't want to be buying them just for their points. I want to be trying to maximize their ability to get activated. So can I even afford any of these buildings? The scaffolding business, 1 brick, 2 wood. Yes, I can. Maybe it's worth just doing that then. This is worth a lot more points. 3 coins. I've got loads of coins. 1 brick, 2 clay and 2 wood. It may be better to do that instead. But I'd have to pay the difference in coins as per the points in the cards. So I may as well just go for the lesser point one. I don't really want to get that one because I'd need to do something with my clay. Too much clay. Don't have enough brick. All right. Maybe I will go and get another building. Yeah. Or should I get clay? Should I get clay because then I won't be able to get the clay next time? Yes, let's get clay, just in case. We're going to go and get clay. So 4 clay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I don't know. All right, refill. All right, so we are on the very final round of the game now. So this is where I think we actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this one needs to go. So we've got 41 is our smallest. So you go there. Not that it matters now in terms of order, but there we go. Do I want to turn my wheel? Yes. So I'm going to pay a fella to move the ore. And then the fella's down here. So what do we have? So we've got one that's 1 or more adjacent canals. Struggling to get my words out now. 1 or more adjacent canals. I can spend stone to get prestige. I don't have a great production of stone. The rest we've seen before. This one, maximum 1 adjacent pathway. I can spend 2 ore and either 1, 2 or 3 stone to get prestige. Maybe I should try and push my stone up then. Oh, I do quite like that plant construction company. Let's try and do that. The thing is, I get a little distracted at this point in the game because that's only going to be worth 6 points at the end of the game. So I don't know whether I'm just worth biting the bullet and maximizing the points on what I've got, trying to activate everything, which is probably more beneficial, and just buying what I can easily afford without wondering if I can activate it immediately. And this, obviously, like this is going to be giving us 3 points automatically because it's got 3 thalers on. So if I can activate this, what's this is going to give me? 1 or more adjacent, yeah. And then across the board, so I've got 1, 2, 3 railways not adjacent to it. So I'm going to get three coins. Does anything else need extra activations? Everything else is actually hunky-dory. I can't do this one because I haven't got another adjacent structure to go to it. Well, maybe then it's worth just throwing all of my materials at structures for victory point reasons. And also at the end of the game, if you have any empty root spaces, they're worth -1 points. So I am mindful that I do want to try and get some pathways and roads and stuff out. So let's, in that case, go and get all of this money. I don't know what I'm doing at this point in the game. And let's just build stuff. So build a path. Yeah, let's build a path there. Build another path. Oh, I can't even build another path. I could spend a brick. Do I want to spend a brick? I've got 2 bricks. Nothing needs 2 bricks. All right, we're going to spend a brick to activate him. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So I gain 3 thalers. Let's change some up. That's that. Oh, and I can also buy a building. So shall I just go for the biggest? So that's going to be the 2 stone, which is fine, 3 clay, which is fine, 1 wood, and 3 money. Let's just do that. So 3 money, 1, 2, 3, 2 stone, 3 clay, 1, 2, 3, 1 wood. And let's just try and put you, if I put you here, I might be able to activate this bridge as if I build another bridge, activate him as well. Or do I actually want to do that? What I do want to do though is get some more materials so I can build some more routes, because at the moment I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, -8 points. That's quite a lot. What I will do then is actually go here to get this coin, build a bridge to activate this particular card here. So I gain a wood, a clay, an ore, a brick and a stone, and then I could buy another building. So which is going to be easiest to buy right now? So both of these are 8 points at the end of the game, so these are looking tasty, but I don't have enough stuff. So what's going to be cheapest, in all honesty? You're going to be, oh, I don't know. My maths at this point is just not great. So you're going to cost me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coins to get enough materials. 8, 9 because of the price. So you're going to actually earn me -1 points at the end of the game. So I don't think I want you. This is going to cost me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to give me 1 point. Whereas you will actually gain me more. You're going to give me 4 points, and you're going to give me, I'd have to spend 2. You're going to give me 4 points as well. I'm going to buy this one then. So 1 stone, 1 wood, and place you here. I have no materials. I also don't have any stone. A lot of these actually allow you to get prestige from stone, and I just don't have any. Which is my own fault. I should have tried to like push that. I mean, I could always buy it. I don't think it's really worth it. So I think at this point I'm just going to maybe build pathways and stuff. Okay, what I'm going to do is I want to keep my bricks if I can. So I don't know. I can't quite work it out anymore. I need to keep my bricks. I also want to build at least 1 pathway and a... That's okay. I'm just talking to myself now. if I come here then, let's gain that. I can build a pathway in between these two. I'm not going to build the gravel, but I will spend 1 thaler to increase my wood to 1, spend that wood to do this, build a bridge there. This is the second bridge to this structure. So per 2 bridges across the whole board, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 4. I can spend 1 brick. So I'm just going to spend the 2 to gain 2 thalers and 4 prestige. I'm squeezing every little point out. And then last turn, shall I go and get the thingamajiggy? Shall I just go and get these coins? Thing is, I don't really have any materials to build the stuff. Because I could end up surrounding this one, but then I'm going to have to push the net points is not going to be enough. So this one, and I still don't have any stone either. Hang on, I'd still gain points from it though. So I'd have to spend, yeah, I'm actually going to go over here then. And then what I'm going to do is 2 roots. First, I'm going to do some faffing around with my material wheel. So I'm going to spend 2 coins to move my wood and my clay up to the 1 space. Then I'm going to spend 2 thalers to push the wheel around 1. And then I'm going to spend, it's not even worth it, but oh well. I think it is by net 1 point or something. Then I'm going to spend 1 more thaler to move my clay. To then spend that clay to, I don't even have a little one anymore, where's some little ones here, finish you off, which means I can spend my 1 stone to get 5 prestige. I can't remember how much money I spent on that action now. I am able to actually, I will do, because at the end of the game, bricks are worth 1 point, but the empty spaces are worth -1 point. So it doesn't actually matter, but I will do just because I want to. And that's the end of the game. At this point, we are able to turn our wheel if we want to, because our basic materials are not worth anything at the end of the game, but every stone and every brick is worth 1. I would have to spend 3 points in order to even move it, so that would net me a total of -1 point, so I'm not going to do that. And then we go straight into final scoring, and I'm going to go and grab a calculator because I cannot talk and do mental maths at the same time. So it's actually got a very handy little guide on our little overview sheet here. So basically you gain the points on your structures. So it doesn't matter whether they're surrounded or activated, anything like that, just gain the base points on them. So I have got 20 from the top. 19. And I've got 60 from that so far. And then money. So I've got an awful lot of money here, which is very nice. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then prestige. So money is basically worth just 1 point at the end of the game. Prestige is worth 1 point at the end of the game per prestige you have. But the difference is the money can be spent for different things, like building your canals, and the prestige is just not, it's just basic victory points. So whatever your total is of this. So 10. I've got, that's all annoying because the 2s and the 5s look very similar. 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 29. Bricks and stone. So per brick and stone you gain 1 point. I have grand total of 0. And then whatever the minimum is from your Oh yeah, I did lie. They are sort of worth the things at the end of the game. So whatever is your minimum of your whatever is your minimum of your wood, your clay, and your ore. So if you've got 5 clay and 0 of everything else, it's just basically worth the minimum. So if you had the 5 of the ore and 0 of your wood and clay, it would be worth 0 points. So that's 0 for me as well. And then you gain 1 point per canal, railway, and road on your board. So your pathways are the only ones that aren't worth anything. Everything else is worth 1. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then finally -1 per free route. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have got, oh no, I +5. I was like, that doesn't make sense. -5, there we go. So even though I had a calculator, I managed to press the wrong buttons sometimes and get the wrong thing. So I have got a total of 130 points, which isn't my highest, but it's a lot better than I've been doing recently. And in the back of the booklet, it tells you a little bit of where you sort of land. I've just managed to push into the next category. So if it was 129, it would be you are victorious. I've got 130, which is great. Your industrial area is worthy of an award. So that's brilliant. I've managed to push into the superior achievement, but I haven't managed to push into the very top category yet. So not too bad at all. Pretty good, I think. So that is Oranienburger Kanal. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough today, and I will be back in a moment with my final thoughts on the solo mode. So some final thoughts on Oranienburger Kanal, the solo mode from this game. I actually saw this one on crowdfunding back in the day, a few years ago, when it was originally up and running. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I definitely looked at this one and thought maybe I will back it, because I had an idea. I don't know whether I'd started my solo series at the time, or I don't even know if the channel existed. I can't remember, but I just remember thinking, oh, that would be an interesting addition to my collection. I'd like to talk to people about that, because it was the first Uwe Rosenberg game that was really, it's not his first 1 to 2 player game, but it's the first game that was really sort of advertised from a solo perspective and really sort of pushed in that direction a little bit more, and it definitely interested me. But ultimately, the overall look of this game absolutely does not appeal to me in the slightest, and I saw what it looked like on the Kickstarter. Was it GameFound? I don't know. On the crowdfunding campaign, and I just lost interest in it from how it looks alone. And I know a lot of people have done as well. This is a very mustard game. It's incredibly yellow, and it's the sort of yellow that reminds me of mustard. And of all foods, I am not particularly fussy. I just despise mustard. And so my whole feelings around this game just makes me feel quite creeped out and grossed out. And yeah, that was enough to say, no, I'm not interested. But then, obviously, it delivered around the world, and there was a lot of talk about this one from being pushed from a solo, and that it really was like the creme de la creme from the solo modes of all of his big bucks games. And so I absolutely knew that I definitely missed out there, and I wanted to give it a go. Now, I will be absolutely honest in that it isn't my favorite, which surprised me. Of course, one of the first differences being, and the negative to me, is the overall theme. So this one diverges quite a lot from his other typical games, so it does have no element of farming whatsoever. I mean, I'm a very much animal outsidey person, so, you know, a lot of all of the creatures and the farming the animals and the crops and that really appeals to me in his other titles, whereas this one definitely takes away all of that interest for me. So that is one of the reasons why this one drops a little bit. I can push beyond that, but where this one dropped a little bit farther is, I think, because I feel that this is an ultimate efficiency puzzle, and you only have 7 action spaces, which is really good in one way, because it means that you really have to sort of focus on activating things in a certain order and really trying to squeeze everything out of everything you've got in front of you. And it is just the maximum efficiency puzzle. But what I missed was that much more expansive experience when you compare this to a Feast for Odin, where you've got 40, 60 action spaces. Yes, they are very similar sometimes. I just missed that sandbox-like feel. And I just felt very restricted. On top of that as well, I feel quite restricted by the types of actions that you can do on some of the spots. So the fact that you can only build canals and railways at one action spot in the whole game, I found very restrictive. My husband said this as well, because I have played this one a couple of times multiplayer, and I understand that viewpoint of they are quite valuable routes to have down, and obviously that they're a lot more laborious than just laying down a simple pathway in real life. But I just felt that if the blocking disc was there, you were literally locked out of it, and you can build only 2 canals on your turn on your each round maximum, unless you have a card which allows you to do more. And so I just felt unnecessarily restricted, which I don't usually feel in Uwe Rosenberg games, coupled as well with the fact that there is an awful lot of cards in this game, which is really good obviously for replayability, but it just means that sometimes you are wanting, maybe all of the cards that come out, all the structure cards, are to do with your railways, and you're trying to trigger these cards and get the bonuses, but you've already built maximum of 2 railways on your turn, so then you've got another round to wait before you can even trigger anything. And I think there's just too much tightness here. If there was maybe just one extra space to just build 1 railway track, that would just make it a lot more open, I think. Honestly, this one does, I've never really felt that crunch of I'm desperate to build another railway here, or I'm desperate to build another canal. I just feel that a lot of the action spaces are very similar, very much the same, nothing too exciting going on, and just allowing that more open sandbox feel would just sort of lift this into a better category and what I enjoy in a game a little bit more. One thing I do really like in this game is the material wheel. So I find it a very interesting puzzle of trying to balance your resources, of your most valuable resources, which you cannot get anywhere on the board. You are only generating them through from your card structures, or paying money to rotate that wheel, or that free rotation you get once per round. I think that is a really, really clever little mechanic, and I love the fact that you can also you're not necessarily restricted by just the movement once per round. You can spend money to push resources around, and you're trying to weigh up in your head all the time whether it's more beneficial for you to really get that card or get that 1 brick. But bearing in mind you're still spending points, or aka money, in the game to do so. Really, really great. I love that mechanic, and it does definitely ensure that you need to be planning ahead for the next round and making sure that you maybe push sometimes and you don't others. Really great concept. I like that a lot. The solo mode as well, I find, is it's got a set number of turns. So you've got, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got 7 rounds in order to play the game. When you are playing multiplayer, you are dictated, the pace of the game is dictated by how fast players are purchasing these structures. So you have more cards actually on the board to take, and the end of the game only triggers when that last blue card is actually taken from the board and out on display. So the pace is very much determined by how quick the players are going. And there are additional rules in place to stop you stalling the game, which is obviously beneficial. Neither of my husband and I are going to be stalling the game deliberately or anything like that, but some players may, and it's obviously very strategic to do so. But I found that was a lot nicer because it allowed you to sort of play your own way and really sort of maximize things where you want to. Really like that aspect of when you have a lot more control over that. And whereas in this solo mode, you have 7 rounds only and there's no flexibility in that. It obviously makes the game a really brilliant time scale. So this one, it's usually about the 50-minute mark. Sometimes there's a little bit over an hour if I am really having a good think. So, you know, say an hour's mark then, a really good play time for this sort of game. I just would like, I don't know, I enjoyed the two-player experience more than the solo, I think. The blocking disc does work particularly well. A lot of some of the solo modes in Uwe's other games are very sandboxy in one regard, where you can sort of basically do what you want and it's all hunky-dory. But it is very much just place your meeple here, and you don't have to worry about anything else. Whereas this one, you really do need to be thinking about where they're going next turn, and it's nice that it's methodical so you can see exactly what's going on. So that works really well. So yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag on the actual mechanics. I don't want to sound too negative, because I do very much enjoy this game. It's definitely not anything like massively negative to say. It's just I'm setting myself up now and trying to really compare it to his other titles so I can start ranking. And from what other people were saying on, you know, this one being like, they've called it the creme de la creme for their solo, I actually felt a little disappointed in how I've found the gameplay. And I think that's just honestly what I'm looking for in a game, as compared to how it actually plays, because there's not any real flaws in the gameplay. The one thing I will say though, mechanically wise, is I found it very strange that at the end of the game you are scoring points for the structures themselves solely. So no matter if they are surrounded on all sides, the number of times they've been activated, etc., it doesn't matter. So you're going to be, if a structure is worth 6 points at the end of the game, it's going to be worth 6 points in the end of the game as long as you've bought it. So what I ultimately find happens is that, and especially this felt much more prominent in the two-player game actually, but in this solo mode as well, I sometimes can't really see anything to really do to get me points, because I might have the materials at that point in the game, or they're blocking me to get extra clay at the very end of the round. So ultimately, I'm just crunching numbers, trying to see whether I can squeeze out any additional victory points from just buying the structures. So I'm just buying them for the sake of them. I don't need to think about their ability anymore. I don't need to think about spatially where they are on the board. And I find that that is a bit of a shame. I don't like that aspect, because it feels like I'm just sort of cheating the game a little bit by that point. What I think, and it's probably way too complicated, and there will be even more information on the already explosively busy cards, is if they had like various point scales. So I don't know. This is just what I came up with, and I thought I think I would feel better about it whether or not they could make it visually look okay on the cards. Is just have, if it's like an unsurrounded card or unactivated card, you gain 2 points. If it's been activated once, you get 3 points. If it's been activated twice, you get 5 points. You know, like a scale, so you can, yes, you may push at the end of the game to just get them for the very base points, but actually what you could also be doing is trying to see whether it's more beneficial for you to focus on your own board and surround those cards that you may not already have surrounded. Because at the end of the day, you're still scoring -1 points per empty root space, but it's still only -1. And so some of these are worth like 13 points, 12, 13 points, and that's a lot. And I didn't like that. I thought that that was a very strange change in feeling of the game at the very end. So in terms of replayability of this game, it's quite insane the number of cards that it actually comes with. So as I said earlier in the video, the base game comes with decks A and B, and I've worked out that you can roughly get about 3 games out of each deck back to back without seeing the same cards twice. You will see some, I think it's the blue cards that you will see twice in one of the games, but it's only a couple of them. So you've already in the base game, if you don't buy any of the expansions, you've got 6 games without even seeing the same card twice. And that's not even accounting for any like shuffling the cards in with each other and things like that. I don't think you can mix decks, but you know, mixing up some of the green cards with the orange cards, and so they interact differently. So in terms of the replayability, it's very, very high. And then a lot of the time, if you are sort of trying to get this particular copy, you will see like the package with the 2 expansions, and each expansion has 2 additional decks in. I've played this one quite a lot now. It is going to be going away again very shortly. but I haven't even touched 2 of the decks as well. And just going off of that then into the like iconography, that is, I think that that's where my original opinion of the game had dropped when I first played it, and I felt really a little frustrated and a little disappointed. I don't really want to say disappointed. I wasn't disappointed. This is a fun game, and I haven't played it this many times back to back, like not enjoying it. I've enjoyed every play, but the iconography is tough. It is complicated. There is a lot on the cards. You can't look at these cards and know what they mean. And some of them are very, very simple, but I wouldn't really know. I wouldn't know just looking at any of these what they would mean. And even now, I've played it probably over 10 times. There's still some, and this is just the A deck, which I've now played with 4 or 5 times, that I don't get still. And that's a real barrier. And I think teaching it to new people, it would be a game that I would really struggle to teach to non-gamers. And I do feel that actually a lot of Uwe's other titles are much more approachable in that respect. Maybe not something like A Feast for Odin, for example, because of the expansive board, but Agricola, I find that there is not too much complexity there once you sort of get over some like card interactions. Or like, you know, the barriers of like feeding people. I feel like a lot of his other games are just naturally more approachable, and this one, just from the iconography alone, is not. And then coupled with that, with how this game looks on the table, it just doesn't quite hit the mark with his other games. And that's just such a shame. And it would be so interesting to play this one once it's been re-released again with different graphic design, because I do wonder how much of this is I'm personally holding responsible to this game for the graphic design. I really hope that the mechanics of this game is where I'm really feeling that slight disappointment too. But you never know. Like I feel like I'm finding some flaws in the mechanics as well, not just the graphic design, but you never know. I think I would ignore a lot more of the mechanics if it looked stunning, and that is I don't like that aspect, but it is what it is. Looks alone though aside, rather, you know, this game quality-wise is very good. The dial is really cool and it's actually very easy to use. I think some people have had some like wobbly dials, but mine's absolutely fine when you've got it on the table, and the wooden little resource pieces are really nice. The prestige tokens, the font is, I think, a really poor choice. When you've got it in your little pots trying to take 5 prestige points out, the 5s look extremely similar to the 2s. So I have to really pay attention to what I'm taking. And that's a shame. Why don't they just make it a different colour, for example, and then you can see whether you're taking a 1, 2, or 5, or a bigger denomination there. That's not great. The cardstock's really nice. I think they're all linen finish, aren't they? Yeah, they're linen finish. And the little roots are, you know, pretty standard cardboard as well. What I will say then is talk about the, what am I trying to say? Talking about the player boards. So I've actually got one of the player boards here. You'll see that on the other side of the player board, which is not what we were playing on today, they actually have pre-printed areas. So we got a route here and your canal is starting here. They say that for your first few games to start on this side and put the routes down as shown. I completely and utterly disagree, because the first couple of games I did what I was told and did that. I found it so incredibly difficult to get anything going at all. I spent about 3 or 4 rounds, so essentially half the game, trying to get enough materials to actually build those routes and surround those cards, because all of those routes were at opposite sides of the board, and I don't understand why they would do that, because what I could do, just like, you know, deciding where I want the routes myself, is you can look at the cards that are out and you can get those triggers so much sooner. You can, you know, activate one of your cards potentially in the first round of the game, and you know that elevates the number of prestige points or materials you're going to get from the off. And so when I actually played with my husband, both times he decided to do what was told in the rule book, And I said to him, I was like, I don't really agree with it. So, you know, I can help you like try and set up your routes if you want to, or because I'm going to set my own routes up. And he really agreed. And he said that he was seeing me start to trigger stuff like first round, second round, and he was still trying to like build routes up here, there, and everywhere, and found it really tricky. And I don't think the only reason that I could think that they would do that is because they're trying to spread the like railway track and the canal out enough so you can expand them. But I don't ever feel that there's enough cards coming out that are only railway or canal based, which would mean that you're trying to always build those routes on top of each other and they're really interfering. I just don't think that there's enough cards sort of focusing on those aspects to worry about that. So I found that really strange. And so I would, you know, understand the game by doing them as you want, because you may not know where you want to put them for your first game, but then I think it's way easier to just decide where you want your routes yourself. So just trying to sum up my final thoughts on this one, I do feel quite mixed. On one hand, I do like what it is doing for the most part. I do find it interesting that you'd only have like a maximum of 2 times to activate each structure, and you've also got that additional like complexity where if you're activating 2 structures simultaneously with their second bridge, you can only choose one to gain the benefit of. All of those aspects are really interesting and are quite different to what we've seen before and make for a really nice puzzle. But ultimately, it is just like efficiency focused, this game, so you just are trying to like always figure out how to squeeze every single little point out of every action that you're doing, which is fun, but I just don't feel like any of the other aspects are sort of pushing it into the fantastic category. Just remembered another aspect of what I think it's a me problem, but sometimes in these games, because there's only 7 action spaces to go to, I can sometimes get a bit overwhelmed with, you know, like trying to like link everything together and trigger bonuses. So I could, you know, get the bonus from this top right card over here, which will allow me to get these resources, which means I can buy this card, which means I could put that in that spot to trigger this, etc., etc. My brain can only handle so much of that. So what I do instead is turn my brain off and just have a look at what action spaces are left on the board, when ultimately that's going to be like maybe a couple, because there's so limited spots to go to, and just try from that one alone, just work out exactly what's going to gain me more stuff. And using that tactic has never been to my detriment. And another game I did this to as well, Spirit Island. I like Spirit Island, but I always, when I was double handing it or triple handing it or whatever, found it difficult to visualize how the whole turn was going to pan out, because it was about playing cards and you can spend a certain number of energy to play cards, etc. And everything you did would manipulate the board in some way. And so then you had to visualize how the board would look on this person's turn. And so they could then manipulate the board a little bit more, then it's back to you, and then you work out how to manipulate it further. It's just too much for my brain. And so what I ended up doing in that game, and I've done it in this game as well, is switch my brain off, go for the middle ground. So I'd be spending like, I don't know, X amount of energy, which is not the maximum, but not the minimum. You know, middle ground. I may, in this game, just go for resources, because I may be getting a couple of points from the fallas that are on the space, and I'm low in the material as well, so it's going to be a win-win at some point. And just play the cards in Spirit Island. I would just play cards, and then as you go through the round, just see what the most optimum move is at that point in time. And this is exactly what I can do in this game. I can just not really foreplan too much and usually get a very standard score, a pretty solid score. And so I just feel like there's maybe not enough variety in action spaces, and not enough action spaces to begin with to really just sort of stop you doing that, stop me just mindlessly playing the game and not really thinking it through too much. I think that's a me problem. I have never heard anyone else really say anything like that before, and I know Spirit Island is a well-loved solo game. But yeah, this one just falls into that category for me, where it's good. but I just feel like there's just not quite enough there to keep me coming back. So I said I was wrapping it up and then I waffled on for another 5 minutes. So yes, to sum up, Oranienburger Kanal is a fun 1 to 2 player game. It is a very different experience to his other titles because this one is a much more confined, much less action spacey experience, spatial puzzle that you are doing and trying to be the most efficient with your space and resources to try and squeeze as many points as possible. It is not a sandboxy experience that you may see in some of his other titles like Caverna or Feast for Odin. They are much more do what you want to gain all of your points, and this is very specific into how you should be trying to play your game to get the best scores possible. There is an additional mode in this. I haven't even touched on the solo campaign. I believe you are just sort of working through the deck to... So if you've got the A deck, you'll be like playing games back to back, which is an interesting thing to do. What I may actually try that before I put this game away. So at least I've tried that one once as well to see how that plays through. And some of his other titles have those aspects in there as well. But ultimately, yes, this one, the aesthetics definitely let it down. The iconography definitely lets it down. And I just feel is maybe a little bit more restrictive than what I'm usually used to and what I really enjoy in a game. So thank you very much for watching the playthrough today. I hope you enjoyed it and are enjoying the solo Uwe Rosenberg series so far. We are nearing the end. I know it's been a very long time between filming playthroughs. Hopefully it will, I won't say it will speed up a little bit. I've got at least another 2 playthroughs that I want to get out before I film or start thinking about my final rankings of these games, but we are getting there. We are, you know, nearly 80% of the way, or 80% of the way through. If you did enjoy the content today, please consider subscribing to the channel and you will be let know of any future releases that I do. Otherwise, have a lovely rest of your day and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.